I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. Moving on, in the ABRSM Grade 3 Discovering Music Theory workbook, we move on to page 21, still concerned with the topic of pitch, but now we're going to change the pitch, either an octave higher or an octave lower. And this is what we would refer to as the topic of transposition, where we transpose or change pitch, moving it up or down accordingly. In this case, we're going to be transposing it one octave higher or one octave lower. So here we can see that there's a melody that begins on middle C in the treble clef. We have exactly this melody in the bass clef, exactly the same pitch, but changing to bass clef. So we can get a C, then it steps up to the E, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3. Next door, up a step to the F, down 1, 2, 3, a third to the D, down a third to the B below middle C, there's your checkpoint. Up a step gives you middle C, that's your clue. Up a step to the D above middle C, and then back again to the middle C. So we should be right back where we've started. Middle C is that handy checkpoint. However, now what we're going to do is we're going to change from treble clef to bass clef and change to an octave lower. So here this is middle C, but now we're going to go down an octave. So we've changed the pitch by an octave. So there's C. This is C, the octave lower. Keeping middle C as a reference point so that we know we're one octave lower now. Up a third to the E. Next door, notice F. Down a third to the D. Down a third to the B. Up a step. There's your checkpoint. This should be the C below middle C. Up a step. Back down a step. There's the C below middle C. And then we do the same principle again. We're going to stay from treble to treble clef, but we're going to still change the octave an octave higher. So if this is middle C, our starting point, and then we need to be an octave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 notes higher, and everything moves accordingly. So we're now on the C, an octave above middle C, up a third to the E. Next door, up a step is F, down a third is the D, down another third is the B. So that's the B below middle C here. This is the B above middle C. And then we've gone up a step to the C. There's our checkpoint. There's middle C. That's the C, an octave above middle C. Up a step, down a step, back to C. And we should find that each of those are the same. We're back where we started. So it's just keeping things pegging along accordingly in steps or thirds or whatever, accordingly with this octave adjustment now. So we get the chance to do this in exercise 5, just in individual notes, but the principle remains exactly the same. So if you feel ready to just jump in and have a go, by all means do so. If not, look at the first couple with me and then try the remainder on your own. It's much better to make your mistakes and learn by those mistakes. So we're going to transpose or rewrite or change the pitch by changing everything to an octave lower. Here we're going from bass clef to bass clef. So this is the F below middle C. And we need to go another octave lower. So we could just simply count down 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so there's our octave lower. Because we're just going from clef, bass clef to bass clef, that's simple enough. We've got the same scenario here. This is the E flat above middle C. We're going to go down an octave. We've got to find 8 notes lower. 1, 2, always counting the first as 1, 2, line, space, line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Takes us to the E below middle C. We're not quite there yet though, because of course it needs to have a flat. Otherwise it's not the same pitch at all, even an octave lower, is it? So I'm hoping that you've had a go of these, so let's check them through together. If not, do press pause and try. I know that I always say this, I'm repeating myself, but do try and pencil. You can always erase it out and have another go. Much better than just passively copying. So here we're going from bass clef to bass clef, so we've simply got to rewrite an octave lower. So here's middle C, here's the octave below that, we need to go the octave below again. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, counting space line, space line, space line, space line. So it's going to be on this second ledger line below the stave. And there is the C. Now a little bit more thinking is required here because we're going to change clef. We're going from treble clef to bass clef. So this is where using middle C really does help, because here, this is the G above middle C. To go an octave lower, we've got to go to the G below middle C. So if this is middle C, we're going from the G above to the G below, C, B, A, G. There we go. You could think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then adjust your clef accordingly. Now here, this is the A below middle C. So let's think what that would be just at pitch. So if that's middle C, that's the A below middle C, but we need to now go an octave lower still. So counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's our rewritten, our changed pitch. We've transposed it down an octave. Just out of interest, the double bass is an instrument that transposes by an octave, and so when a double bass plays a note, that was a mouthful, when a double bass plays this note, it actually sounds an octave lower. So that's sort of prepping for the next grades ahead. But just this is what the double bass does, just in sound quality anyway. However, I digress. Let's look at this last little exercise. So here, if this is middle C, this is the D, and then we have the D above that. And we've got to go an octave lower, haven't we? And so an octave lower will take us to the D just above middle C, won't it? So if that's middle C, sorry, the octave, right, let's think again. If that's the D, an octave lower, we're going to be on the D above middle C, aren't we? Yes. Scrambling my brain here. So here's middle C. There is the D. And of course, we're not quite there until we've sharpened it. So we've gone an octave lower. That's middle C. That's the D above. And that's what it will look like in the bass clef. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons, you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.